Avengers, Doomsday, opening scene leaks, explained warning. This video contains major potential spoilers for Avengers, Doomsday. What if the very first scene of Avengers, Doomsday, shows one of Marvel's most beloved Spider-Men fighting for his universe, while an entire Earth is being destroyed around him? Because that's exactly what the latest alleged behind-the-scenes images and leaks are suggesting. And here's where things get really interesting. Some of the new images reportedly connected to the opening sequence appear to line up with rumors that have been circulating for months. From the alleged collision of two universes to Wolverine and Deadpool to Magneto, and even the possibility of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man wearing an advanced Iron Spider-style suit. If these reports are accurate, Marvel could be starting Doomsday with one of the darkest opening sequences in the entire multiverse saga. And yes, some of these images have reportedly been circulating online and are being removed from social media. So before we go any further, major spoiler warning. If you don't want potential Doomsday spoilers, this is your last chance to leave. But if you're ready to break down everything these alleged leaks could mean, let's get into it. So what exactly is supposed to happen during the opening sequence of Avengers Doomsday? For months, one major theory has been circulating among Marvel fans. The movie could begin with an incursion involving Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe and the X-Men universe. And that idea becomes even more interesting when we look back at the first Doomsday trailer. Remember the scene where Professor X looks toward another reality and appears to witness an entire universe becoming unstable? That could potentially be our first glimpse at the incursion that kicks off the movie. According to the current rumors, the X-Men universe may be facing an impossible choice. Two realities are on a collision course, and when two universes begin colliding, one of them may have to be destroyed in order for the other one to survive. That's the basic idea behind an incursion, and this is where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man could become involved. According to the latest alleged images, two Earths can apparently be seen getting dangerously close to one another. One of those Earths is rumored to be Earth 10,005, the universe associated with the X-Men and Deadpool characters. The other is supposedly Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe. And here's the crazy part. The alleged images appear to show one of these Earths already beginning to glow and break apart before the two realities completely collide. If the rumors are accurate, that could mean the X-Men have made the decision to destroy Tobey's Earth before the incursion can completely wipe out both universes. And that would make the opening of Doomsday incredibly brutal, because the X-Men wouldn't necessarily be destroying another universe because they're villains. They would be doing it because they're trying to save their own reality. That's what makes the incursion concept so terrifying. There isn't always a clear hero or villain. Sometimes survival itself becomes the conflict. Now let's talk about the alleged images that are making this theory even more interesting. In some of the circulating photos, Deadpool and Wolverine appear to be together. Deadpool can apparently be seen without his mask, while Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is also present. Of course, there's always a possibility that some of these images were captured during production or are simply behind-the-scenes material. But another alleged image has gotten fans talking even more, because it appears to show Wolverine fighting Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And Wolverine is reportedly wearing his classic yellow suit, but Tobey isn't wearing the traditional Spider-Man costume. Instead, he's reportedly wearing a motion capture suit. And this is important because we've supposedly seen something similar before. Earlier behind-the-scenes images allegedly showed Tobey Maguire on the set alongside Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. And in those images, Tobey was also reportedly wearing a motion capture suit. So why would Spider-Man need motion capture? One theory connects this directly to another rumor we've been hearing for months. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man could reportedly be using an advanced Iron Spider-style suit during the opening sequence. Think about what that would mean. Tobey's version of Spider-Man would be facing the X-Men while using technology far beyond the classic suit we've seen in the original Sam Raimi trilogy. We still don't know exactly where that technology would come from. We don't know who created it, and we don't know why Tobey's Spider-Man would suddenly have access to something like it, but the motion capture costume could potentially be connected to digital effects for that upgraded suit. And if that's true, Marvel could be giving Tobey's Spider-Man a completely different look for his final multiverse saga appearance. Now there's another detail in these alleged images that fans have noticed. Wolverine appears to be holding some kind of device. We obviously can't know exactly what it is from a blurry leaked image, but one popular theory is that this could be connected to the weapon or technology being used to destroy the opposing Earth. And if Wolverine, Deadpool, and the X-Men are involved in this operation, then they're not necessarily just fighting Spider-Man. They could be participating in a desperate attempt to prevent their own universe from being destroyed. And that's where Magneto enters the picture. According to rumors surrounding the movie, Magneto could also be involved in this opening conflict. Ian McKellen previously generated speculation after comments that fans interpreted as suggesting that his character would be involved in destroying New Jersey. Obviously, we shouldn't treat that as confirmation of the exact scene, but if the rumors are connected, there is an interesting possibility. What if the New Jersey Jersey being destroyed belongs to Tobey Maguire's universe. Another alleged image appears to show Magneto manipulating a massive red energy source. Again, we don't know exactly what we're looking at, but fans have theorized that this could be some kind of enormous energy weapon connected to the destruction of the Earth. If that theory is correct, Magneto could be one of the major characters helping the X-Men carry out the impossible decision to destroy Tobey's universe. And Deadpool and Wolverine could be involved as well. But here's where the story gets even more complicated. Tobey's Spider-Man might not be alone. Some rumors have suggested that characters from his universe could join him against the X-Men. Names like Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus have been mentioned in various fan theories and reports, and honestly, it would make sense from a story perspective. If Marvel wants to show that Tobey's universe is genuinely fighting for survival, Spider-Man probably shouldn't be the only person standing against an entire team of mutants. There could potentially be other heroes and villains from that reality involved. Remember, the original Spider-Man movies established a much larger world around Peter Parker. There were other powered individuals, scientists, villains, and characters living in that universe, so we shouldn't assume that Tobey's Spider-Man will be completely isolated during this battle. But even with reinforcements, the X-Men could still win. And this brings us to another extremely interesting piece of the puzzle: the alleged destroyed New York City shown in the second Doomsday trailer. A lot of fans have connected that destruction to the rumored Thor vs. Dr. Doom battle, but there's something important to remember. Marvel trailers are designed to make us think we understand what's happening. Sometimes the footage is intentionally presented out of context, so what if that destroyed New York isn't connected to Thor and Doom at all? What if we're actually looking at the aftermath of the destruction of Tobey Maguire's universe? That would completely change how we interpret the trailer. And there's another detail worth discussing. Magneto reportedly appears injured in the trailer. If Magneto is actually responsible for controlling an enormous energy source capable of destroying an entire Earth, it would make sense for such an operation to come with serious consequences. Maybe the injuries happened during the destruction of Tobey's universe. Maybe the energy is simply too powerful to control. Or maybe Marvel is intentionally hiding the real context. We simply don't know yet. But now we arrive at the biggest question of all. Does Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man die in Avengers: Doomsday? This is where things get emotional, because if Marvel really destroys Tobey's universe during the opening sequence, killing Spider-Man would be one of the boldest decisions the studio could make. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is one of the most beloved versions of the character ever put on screen. For millions of fans, he isn't just another Spider-Man, he's their Spider-Man. So imagine starting Avengers: Doomsday with that character fighting to save his universe, and then watching the entire reality disappear. That would immediately tell the audience something very important. The stakes in this movie are completely different. This isn't another superhero fight where everyone gets back up after the final punch. The multiverse is collapsing. Entire realities are being sacrificed, and even legendary characters may not be safe. It would also establish the true horror of incursions. The X-Men wouldn't necessarily be fighting because they hate Spider-Man. They would be fighting because their own reality is at risk, and that's a much more complicated conflict. However, I don't think we can say with certainty that Tobey's Spider-Man actually dies. There is another possibility. The Earth could be destroyed while Spider-Man escapes at the last possible moment. Maybe he's rescued by another character. Maybe he survives through some multiversal technology. Or perhaps his reality is destroyed, but Peter himself is somehow pulled into the next stage of the story. And this is where Secret Wars could become extremely important. If Dr. Doom eventually creates Battleworld, then surviving characters from destroyed realities could potentially become part of that new world. That would give Marvel a way to keep Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man alive without immediately revealing his fate. Imagine the opening scene ending with Tobey seemingly disappearing as his universe is destroyed. The audience assumes he's gone. Then, much later in the movie, Battleworld is created, and suddenly, Peter Parker is alive. That would be one hell of a reveal. But there's another possibility that I think Marvel fans need to consider. Maybe Tobey's story actually ends here, and honestly, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad ending. It would be heartbreaking, but it could also be heroic. Think about the journey of Tobey's Spider-Man. He started as a young Peter Parker who was trying to understand what responsibility really meant. He lost people. He made mistakes. He learned what it meant to be Spider-Man. And after all these years, Marvel now has an opportunity to give that version of Peter a final chapter. Not necessarily a happy ending, a heroic one. Imagine Tobey's Spider-Man realizing that his universe cannot be saved. He knows that his Earth is going to be destroyed. He knows that there is no way out. But instead of running, he stays. He fights. He gives everything he has to protect the people around him. And ultimately, he sacrifices himself so another universe can survive. That would be a devastating ending, but it would also perfectly represent what Spider-Man has always been about: responsibility, sacrifice, putting everyone else before yourself. And there's another reason this theory is so interesting. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man has already had multiple major appearances across the multiverse saga. We saw him return in Spider-Man No Way Home, and if Doomsday really is setting up Secret Wars as the ultimate multiverse event, Marvel may want every appearance from legacy characters to have real consequences. That doesn't automatically automatically mean Tobey dies, but it does mean Marvel has an opportunity to make his final appearance feel meaningful. And personally, I think that's much more powerful than simply bringing him back for another cameo and then sending him home. Because if Tobey's Spider-Man sacrifices himself while saving his universe or helping the multiverse survive, his story becomes a legend. Fans would remember that version of Peter Parker forever. Just look at what happened with Tony Stark, Tony's sacrifice in Avengers. Endgame became one of the defining moments of the entire MCU. If Marvel wanted to create another emotionally devastating superhero sacrifice, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man would certainly have the emotional weight to do it. But again, none of this is confirmed. The leaked images, rumors, insider reports, trailer details, and fan theories are pieces of a puzzle. We don't know exactly how Marvel will connect them, and there's always a chance that some of the supposed leaks are fake, misleading, or completely out of context. That's why I wouldn't say that Tobey Maguire is definitely dying in the opening scene. Right now, there are basically two major possibilities. Either Tobey's universe is destroyed and Peter somehow survives, eventually becoming part of the Battleworld story, or Marvel uses the destruction of his universe as the final chapter of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And if you ask me which one would have the bigger emotional impact, a heroic sacrifice would be incredibly powerful. But at the same time, I don't think fans are ready to say goodbye to Tobey again. So now I want to know what you think. Do you believe Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man will survive the opening sequence of Avengers Doomsday? Or do you think Marvel is actually preparing a heroic final ending for the original live-action Spider-Man? And if Tobey survives Secret Wars, should Marvel give him a completely new universe and a genuine happy ending? Or should his story end with one final sacrifice that fans will remember forever? Let me know your theory in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like because it really helps the channel. For more Marvel rumors, leaks, theories, and updates, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned.